We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5.
Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. No matter where you're at in the world, you are live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. We've been looking forward to this. This has been a long time coming, and I want to thank all of my listeners, especially out in the UK, for being patient. You guys know it. We've got the one, the only, the legend, the champion. I know people say that a lot, but listen, this is the first time on record I'm having an incredible person and a human being such as Ray Sefo. He is a New Zealand fight promoter, tongue twister, and retired kickboxer, boxer, and mixed martial artist of Samoan descent. He's a Las Vegas resident. I'm happy to say that I'm here in Las Vegas with him. And we've got a lot to talk about. This isn't going to be your normal conversation. This is going to be all about Ray, what he's doing in a PFL, remembering where he started. He was 5 years old when he was given his first pair of boxing gloves. And there's more to that. And we're going to find out from him direct. Ray, thank you for being here and live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
Thanks for having me, Stephen. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I had a little bit of a tongue twister this morning, but no worries, no problem. We've been preparing up for this, and I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be here with us. You've accomplished a lot in your 52 years, and I mean a lot to where I don't know if Wikipedia can add all of it.
I've been very fortunate, and I thank the good Lord every day that I'm blessed with the opportunities and the life that He's given me. And so the best I can do with that is, as the journey continues, is to give back to either fighters or whoever that needs that kind of blessing as well. So I'm very thankful that I sit where I sit, and but the journey still continues. And so thank you for having me, and thank you for being patient this morning.
You're welcome. It goes back to the earlier conversation that we had, to where it's really about what you're doing in the world of PFL, of sports. As someone who's conditioned, seasoned, you're very grounded. You appear to me and seem like someone who's very visual, that you observe things, not just because you train and coach, but overall and all, I feel that you're someone that is intuitive and you're aware. And if I may say, not to speak for you, one of the strongest things that comes to me and touches my heart, and for the time that we've been connected, which has been quite a while, especially on social media, is that there is a greater understanding and compassion that seems to fill who you are in wanting to do what's right, what's best, but most importantly, to hold accountability, to take and to be aware of the decisions that a person is making in life. How do you feel for me saying that to you?
You're absolutely right. Obviously that also comes from my parents. It's just doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And just something as simple as that, doing the right thing. And that applies to everything in life, into business, into your personal life, to the world. You're absolutely right. So it's at the end of the day, it's just doing the right thing by the people you work with, by the people that you love, by the people that are your acquaintance with. And so, when you do that kind of stuff, life continues to bless you, but at the same time, everybody understands where they belong and how that relationship continues to move forward, right?
Absolutely. And being that you're conditioned as someone who does promotion, you've got a background in kickboxing, mixed martial arts, but most importantly, as the president of PFL, what are the fundamentals? Here's the biggest thing that my listeners would want to know, and I would like for you to educate me on, even with knowing some of your fighters already personally, having had known them for quite some time, a couple for several years. What are the fundamentals that you look for, not only in a fighter, but in a person, in a human being? What makes a great and exceptional athlete of the PFL?
Obviously, first and foremost, the person has to have the talent to be able to compete at the highest level. And obviously, that's the goal for any fighter or any person that wants to step into this kind of world, whether it's boxing, kickboxing, MMA. You got to have the talent. You got to have the skills to kind of compete and continue to grow. Obviously, with that being said, the person's character is also very important, because for me, I tell people all the time, what you see is what you get with me. There's no hidden agendas or anything like that. So it's just, being a good person, doing the right things, living that can inspire people. And so, again, it goes back to just doing the right thing, right? And so I look at these things, and you'll find that every fighter that brings that kind of qualities to the game, they last longer in the game. Not only that, people would want to surround themselves with them, to work with them. They get more opportunities in terms of sponsorship. So yeah, it all comes down to those basic fundamentals of being a good person.
When we think about and consider networking, relationships, community, right, it's something I look forward to building a relationship on even more, with your permission, and with the PFL, because it is so different from when we think of boxing and bare knuckle and a lot of other components and foundations that are happening out there in a world of where viewers and fans and families can be more involved in, especially fighters, of where to go. This isn't to sound promotional, because that's not why Ray's here. And thank you, Colleen, for the message. We are sitting down. I've got Ray Sefo here. He is the president of PFL. He's also a retired kickboxer, boxer, and mixed martial artist. And he resides here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're looking to get a better perspective, clarity about PFL and the goals direct from Ray himself. And I want to thank you for the question. To go back of what I was about to ask you, Ray, is networking, collaboration. There are some, I would say, institutions or businesses that don't really like when there are more interpersonal relationships that are happening on the scenes or behind the scenes. When we think about, whether it be my listeners, people who are going to hear this interview in the future, but also from someone or someone like myself and other people that come from the world of reality television, film, fashion, design, what would we have to look forward to when it comes to collaboration and networking to be more involved in the PFL with the fighters? And then also the fact of it is journalists, independent journalists like myself, who are not with Washington, Forbes or Wall Street Journal or someone, what do we have to look forward to know where we stand, what we can do, and what you would expect from us to do what's right as journalists and people in the media for your fighters and the PFL?
That's a good question. I mean, I think the bottom line is telling the story of the individual fighters and their journeys, but also is to be true to the story, to be true to the individual fighter or whoever that is giving the media the permission to be able to tell their story. And you know, the great thing about the PFL is that their journeys. I mean, you have to follow their journeys because of the way the regular season, the playoffs, and the championship happens. And and we all know about that kind of thing, especially with sports here in the U.S. And it doesn't matter if it's basketball, football, baseball, you name it, right? That's the kind of storylines that you look at. And so when you have so I think the media's idea is to tell the story that needs to be told, and that also makes the individual athlete happy and continue to come back, to update the story on their journey and as they move forward.
It's a good answer. I appreciate most are the documentaries your company does. I've watched at least 6 or 7 of them. They are very well done. I was actually surprised and impressed by the production, by the way the stories are told, the feel of watching something that I would see on Netflix or the Discovery Channel. Are you going to be doing more? Is your company going to be adding more of these visuals and these contexts and narratives to not only the website, but more for the fighters to get more of this Discovery Channel Netflix feel through your videos?
Yes, absolutely. It's funny that you asked that question because the truth be told, I come from a martial arts background, and like you said earlier, I competed in boxing, kickboxing, MMA, and in the beginnings, like my thought process was to put on the best fights that we can put on, and as we grow, my team have also taught me a lot of things, especially with working closely with Jim, who wears a lot of different hats in the company. Even though he's our head legal person, but he wears a lot of different hats. And so he's taught me about storytelling. And of course, Peter Murray's done the same also. And I was like, storytelling. And so, just watching that. So the story is not just about the fight. It's about, their backgrounds, how they grew up, where they come from, how they come to be part of PFL, how their journey as a martial artist started. So that actually made me go, oh, wow, you know what? They're absolutely right. It's not only about the fight. Obviously, that's very important. But the people also want to be connected to that person through that story, the human story of it. And so it taught me a lot. And so, yeah, absolutely. Those are things that, like you said, that you were impressed by watching it. And so was I. And looking back on it. And so obviously our team works very hard and also does a great job in, telling those stories. And I'm, again, I'm very fortunate that the whole PFL team is this big family that all works together to bring the product to the public and tell the best stories, show the best fights, and continue to grow that way.
And if I may say, this isn't a plug-in. And as you get to know more of me, Ray, I'm extremely transparent and honest. You're going to always know my intentions, where I'm coming from. Yep. I've learned that in over 30 years. As a publicist, this is where I was able to not collapse. That's not the right word. It would be where it submerged. I was able to submerge myself completely into your platform because of these behind-the-scene documentary stories. What I encourage you to do, and what I would love to see, is, once again, it goes back to what I say to and have said to many people in the world of sports. There has got to be a way where we can combine forces and networking and conversations to be able to bridge entertainment and sports to where Wall Street Journal or Forbes or, Huffington Post or whoever it may be, to where the people will come out and not just focus on the sport aspect, but to focus on the story. And what I see is something here, and if it hasn't been told to you before, my whole point from a PR media perspective is I would like for you guys to take either the best of the best or to possibly take 3 different fighters and sort out how succinct are these fighters, not only from their background and with their passion, Ray, for doing what they do and what they love to do, from training to eating to families to paying their bills. But where are the accomplishments? Where are the heartaches? Where are the triumphs that 3 of the athletes, and you can create a series from this, where do they share common ground? And where can they teach and learn from each other? And then do a mini West Coast film festival. South by Southwest, Santa Fe Independent Film Festival. We've got film festivals here in Nevada. You got California, you got Washington State. That is something I would like to see. I would love for you and your company, for PFL, to take a minimum of 3 fighters. It's not too little, it's not too many, from 3 different walks of life. And for all of them in their B-roll and in the Q&As and everything, to find out where's the common ground, but where can they learn from each other's story. And once again, create a series from that. Look at a network, maybe Showtime, maybe Netflix, maybe HBO Max, or pick it up. But that's what I see as missing. That's where what I love to do is to find out what's working, and how can you make it better and greater? But more importantly, where can you capture a larger audience, but a larger audience that is not just in one sector of sports, but where you can expand these stories and the fighters, and where PFL and everyone can win. And the only way to do that is you've got to have television. And you've got to have film. You've got to have something to where people can come and be able to relate to people that they're buying tickets to see, and wondering who and why are they there to root for them to win. I hope that helps. And it's something I've been wanting to tell you for quite some time now, ever since I've been hooked by watching these stories.
No, it makes sense. Everything you just said, 100%, it makes sense. And I know that some of our team have been throwing those ideas around, but it most definitely helps not only in the growth of these fighters, but at the same time, the growth of PFL. And so, I 100% agree with you that those stories need to be told, but put a spin to it as well. And like you said, it's seeing where the three individual fighters, and they could be from different weight classes, obviously, and see where they can help each other to learn or to pick up certain things that can help within their training and so on, whether it's to do with meditation or to do with self-healing and or whatever. So I like that, and I will most definitely pass that on.
Speaking of classes, your company has 6. Will you be expanding more divisions within PFL?
Yes, there is. There's been talks about it this past 4 months, and we haven't finalized that yet. Those are still ongoing discussions. Obviously, for us, we're quite busy with PFL Europe. Now sorting out PFL MENA, which covers the whole of the Middle East, PFL Africa, Oceania, Asia. So, yes, that is definitely something that is being talked about it, and most likely, so that your audience understands. So in Europe, PFL Europe, we have a 135 division. But in terms of the PFL Global, we don't have that yet. We have a 45, 155, 170, 205, 145 division for the women, and our heavyweights. So we have 6 divisions, like you said, but there are discussions in regards to, adding 2 more divisions to the season.
If I may ask, any fighter, anyone that's listening and will listen to this interview, any woman, any man that is looking for a platform to build a business, to make money, to be a great representative for themselves and for the organization that they're part of. My question for you, Ray, is what sort of fighter are you looking for? And what sort of credentials or criteria do they need to meet in order to become a professional fighter with PFL?
So there's 2 parts to that. The PFL Global, you have to have 10 plus fights professionally. And obviously, you have to be competing with a high level stage of your career, if you will. For example, I've had people send me their records and it's like 15-2, right? But all of the opponents are 0-0, 4-16, 5-1. So you could have more than 10 fights, but I also got to look at the quality of the fighters that you're competing with, because when you're stepping into PFL Global into the season, you're fighting high level guys, and so myself as not only a former fighter, I got to look at. I don't want anybody getting hurt or badly hurt. Obviously, as Mike Tyson would say, we're in the hurt business, but at the same time, I don't want somebody that goes in there against a high-level guy and just keep completely washed out. You know what I mean? So to go back to your question, yes, you got to have 10-plus fights. You got to be fighting at a reasonable level. And you also got to, bring your A game in terms of your skills, because you got to be able to strike. Because nowadays, everybody knows how to defend a takedown. Everybody knows how to wrestle. Everybody knows how to submit somebody. Everybody knows how to strike. But as we say in the fight world, there's limits to the game, right? And so to every fighter, understand where you're at in terms of those limits, and before your manager sends your application in. And if you feel like you could step up and compete with the best, yeah, absolutely. Everybody's welcome.
with that answer, there's something that I would like to read to you. This was in one of your, doesn't really give me a date. This was with rnz.co.nz. It was with Tele Anderson. It says, quote, I remember at the age of 7, I think I was, my dad had rented a Bruce Lee movie and a Jackie Chan movie. One was Fist of Fury, and the Jackie Chan movie was Drunken Master. I was so fascinated by what was happening, you know. They were able to use their bodies, their legs, their elbows, their head. Like everything just looked so coordinated, and being a 7-year-old, it just blew my mind. When I think about this interview and you in a PFL and all of the extraordinary things you've accomplished in your life, being 52 years young, you still look incredible. You're timeless, you're articulate, and you're respected. How do you feel about who you are as a person and as a man, Ray? How do you feel about your life of what you've accomplished? And how much are you looking forward to accomplishing even more?
That's a great question. How do I feel? Like I said in the beginning of this, I thank the good Lord every day. As soon as I open my eyes, I thank the good Lord for allowing me to wake up to another day. I ask the good Lord for his blessings and protection over myself, my kids, my family, friends, and everybody that believes in God. Throughout the day, and it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be driving. I get to, just thank the good Lord again for just everything in my life. And I always go back to Denzel Washington's speech. I heard this speech, and he said, put God first in your life. Now, God had been in my life, but the reason why I bring his speech up is because everything that he said, I 100 billion% understand what he was saying, but I also understood where that's happened for me too, where he says, I've been everywhere. I put God first, and he's been protected, he's been corrected, and it's just amazing how that is so true. So again, my life is nothing is perfect, right? None of us are perfect, but we do the best we can to try and live by what I said earlier, is by doing the right thing. And not only by with the people that you love, the people you come across, the people that you work with, it's all about doing the right thing. And so I'm very, very grateful, appreciative, and blessed. And so I'm humbled by the love and support that I've gotten from the world of martial arts, the fans of the martial arts world, the fighters, the coaches. So I have nothing but to be grateful for. Or should I say, I have nothing to be upset about, because life is great. And of course, the journey continues, right? And so we continue to learn every day. We continue to grow. And the biggest thing is making sure that we do the right things so that our young ones can be inspired to continue to be able to go on their own individual journeys and inspire more people, and continue to grow goodness and righteousness throughout life. And that's really the goal, is to continue to grow for yourself, but at the same time inspire your little ones, and inspire people to become better people or to continue to elevate in whatever they do in life.
I appreciate that answer. And as also someone who is of faith, I want to thank you for giving me hope and filling me with inspiration, knowing that no matter what a person's beliefs may be, I have heard in the world of entertainment, in the world of sports, and other areas, even in regular business growing up, that God doesn't belong in sports. God doesn't belong in entertainment. God doesn't belong in whatever it may be, because businesses want business to be business. Certain organizations want the main focus to be all about sponsorships and advertisements. Even in the world of media, they don't want to hear. They don't mind what you believe in, but they don't want to hear it. They don't want it promoted. If I may ask you, to any person of faith or anyone that you can relate to in what you believe in, God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, all the above, what would you have to say to that person, Ray, to stay focused no matter what industry, what career, what business, what organization they're in? Would you like to share something or in these final closing thoughts to someone who wants to be able to shout from the rooftops how grateful they are for the gifts and the blessings they received, even to use the term God and Jesus? Do you have anything that you would like to share on that for a person to stay faithful, to stay focused, and to continue to shout from the rooftops and express who they are of what has moved and inspired their heart and soul?
Yeah, I say continue to believe and have faith in God, in yourself. It doesn't matter what religion, what color you are, where you're from. Be true to yourself, and most importantly, be true to your Heavenly Father, because we all know that any person of faith understands that we wouldn't be here without the Heavenly Father, and that we continue this journey understanding that God is Almighty, and that don't let anybody deter you from believing in your faith and believing in God, because at the end of the day, you'll continue to inspire many people from around the world, because, like I said, it doesn't matter what religion you are, what color you are, what you believe in, and just be true to yourself, and make sure you get to thank the good Lord every day.
Ray, thank you for being with us today. And would you like to give a shout out to anyone?
Yeah, my shout out is to my team at PFL. I mean, I'm very fortunate to have such amazing people to work with. And so, and when I say that, not just our staff, but also all our fighters that fight for the PFL from around the world. So a big shout out to the PFL team. Thank you for putting in the work. And Stephen, thank you for having me. And this was an amazing interview, so I appreciate it.
I hope you will be willing to come back on again.
Absolutely. That's without a doubt. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Ray, just hold the line real quick. We're going to close out, and thank you for being with us today.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone for joining Live on Air with Stephen Quokka on Power 98.5. We will re-air this episode throughout the month, so definitely whether you're listening on the iOS or Android app or on the website, power985.com, check the schedule, whatever time zone you're in, and we look forward to, sharing your thoughts. Definitely click that instant messenger in the bottom right-hand corner, whether it be on the app or the website, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you to everyone who's joined us today on the live, and great conversation with Mr. Ray Sefo from PFL, the president, extraordinary man, and you heard him direct. No matter what you believe in and what walk of life you come from, don't let anyone put a shadow on your light, on your spirit, on your soul, and not even on who you are as a person. Because one of the best things my mother, who adopted me, said, God does not make mistakes. And remember, you were not a mistake. You are not a mistake. Have a great day, everyone.